Hi guys, and welcome to the second season of Thunderstorms called Downpour. This series is written by Stacey, Holt. Artwork was provided and approved by Sisaat or Sisaat on Tumblr. I'll leave their link in the description box below, along with everyone that is collaborating within the series. Adrian and Cat Noir will be voiced by Shane, I will be voicing Marinette, Sabine and the Narrator, Maddie will be voicing Tikki, Adrian's aunt Amalie and Rose, Keaton will be voicing Luka, Suprey will be voicing a reporter, an officer, as well as a beach jock, Ashton will be voicing Plague, Alia, Kagami, Jalika, and Natalie. Chloe and Adrian's mother, Emelie, will be voiced by Anna. Scott is going to be voicing Kim. Brad will be voicing Tom. Calvin will be voicing Nino and Hawkmoth. Nick will be voicing Felix. Freeze is going to be voicing Marc and Wayz. Freeze will be voicing Marc and Wayz. Iris will be voicing Sabrina. Stormy333 will be voicing Mylene. Nathaniel will be voiced by Dylan. Ivan and Master Fu will be voiced by Christian. Lila will be voiced by TheJuicyStuff. And Leah will be voicing Miss Bustier. Now, Chapter 7. Dinner. Gabriel sat down at the table and looked over at Marinette and Adrian, his glaring stare almost piercing and cold. The waiters brought out their food and sat it down at the table in front of them, refilling their drinks as they passed.
So, Mr. Pen Cheng, you won the fashion show. Didn't you win the derby hat as well?
He said, cutting food on his plate. Yes. Yes, I did, sir. She said, a little nervous.
Did you intentionally make it have feathers so it would cause my son allergies?
His eyes narrowed. No! She panicked, unsure what else to say at the accusation. He said.
What are your intentions with my son, then?
He said, placing his fork down.
Father?
Adrian said, stepping in.
Adrian, what are your intentions with this young lady?
He asked. Intentions? Marinette looked over at Adrian, her face red, wondering what he was thinking.
What do you mean by intentions?
Adrian coughed, looking over at Marinette, embarrassed.
She has everything to gain, while you have nothing to gain, son.
He narrowed his gaze. Oh, that is what he meant. Intentions to gain in the industry. Of course that's what he meant. Duh.
If anything, I gain a lot from her.
Quiet, son.
Gabriel interrupted him.
But father...
Son.
Gabriel stood up, making both Marinette and Adrian look at one another.
I'm done with dinner. Congratulations on winning, Dupain Chain, but please leave,
he said, leaving the dinner table and going into another room. Natalie came and removed Gabriel's plate, proceeding to remove Marinette's plate as well. Adrian stood up with Marinette. He took Marinette's hand and could tell she was upset. Who wouldn't be after getting yelled at by one of the most famous fashion designers in Paris? She looked up to Gabriel, and he was her boyfriend's father. She was nervous, and he just flat out destroyed her. Adrian hugged Marinette, and she hugged him back. Before he let go of her, he leaned into her ear.
I'll bring us some dinner, since we didn't really eat any,
he said, leaning out and giving her a kiss on the cheek.
Here, take an umbrella. There's a thunderstorm tonight.
He smiled. It's all right. I'll see you tomorrow at school. She frowned, shaking her head at the offer, closing the front door behind her. Wait, did she just tell him not to come? She didn't want him to bring her dinner? Did she want to be alone? He would swing by anyways, but he wouldn't let her know he was there. He just wanted to make sure she was all right. That's what a good boyfriend would do. Adrian made his way to his room and slammed his door, not caring what Natalie or his father said. He was upset with how his father treated Marinette. He had no reason to treat her that way. Why had he acted that way to her? He opened the window, hearing the pitter-patter of the harsh rainfall outside, and lightning flickering outside every few seconds. He transformed and started running across the rooftops until he found Marinette walking home in the rain. She didn't take the umbrella he offered earlier, and he assumed it was because she had one, but she was just getting soaked. She turned down an alley, and he assumed it was because she was going to transform into Ladybug to get home faster. But after a few seconds, he never saw her leave. He leaped over to an alley and saw her sitting in the alley letting the rainfall just fall on her. He jumped down into the alley, knowing earlier he told himself he was going to just keep his distance and let her have her alone time. But he was not going to allow her to sit in the rain.
Marinette?
He said, seeing her lift her head from off of her arms that she propped on her knees. Adrian? She wiped the tears, or rain out of her face, He couldn't tell, but he assumed it was both.
What are you doing out here? Why didn't you take my umbrella earlier?
He said, bending down to see her clearly. Her eyes were red. It was obvious she was crying now.
Don't let my stubborn father get to you. I'm happy being with you, and you're happy being with me. Who cares? We can make it work.
He smiled, kissing her cheek as he lifted her chin to get her to look at him, smiling at her. The rain started to rain harder, and another flash of lightning flashed, creating a bang of thunder to follow. Marinette rushed to her feet and crashed into Cat Noir's arms, catching him off guard. He felt the cold droplets of water fall off his strands of hair and stream onto her, but he didn't care. He wrapped his arms around her.
Everything's going to be okay,
he said softly. No, it isn't. I'm gonna drag you down, Adrian. Everyone says so. I'm starting to believe it myself. I thought I was Paris' superhero, but maybe I'm not cut out for that either.
What are you saying?
He said, pulling away and looking down at her. Marinette was clenching her fist, and she looked up at him. She kissed him one more time and then put something in his hands, then dashed off, leaving him in the alley. He opened his hands and saw her earrings and turned to look for Marinette. He took out his staff and extended it to create enough height so he could try and see where she went. He assumed she would go home, but Ladybug? That would be too easy. Where would she run off to? He could wait until tomorrow and confront her at school and then give them to her. It isn't like he could force them on her. If she didn't want to be Ladybug anymore, then she wouldn't. He needed to find her before her mind was made up. It was just one thing after another. She was just overwhelmed and made a rash decision. This wasn't her. She didn't want to do this. He needed to make her see that. Thank you so much for watching. The next chapter will be out soon. If you haven't already, you can check out my other series such as The Butterfly That Brought Us Together, A Monstrous Night, Melting, Thunderstorms Season 1 if you haven't seen it, or if you would like to rewatch it. Or you can check out my Christmas special called A Merry Cat Christmas Special, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys!